Good morning, back in the bathrobe, back in my spot with my little painting behind. I realized, I was like, gosh, I often focus on us mamas and how we can grow and how we can show up well and nurture our hearts and all that kind of stuff. And I've been thinking a lot about our role and so fortifying you guys is of preeminent importance to me, because when y'all are well fortified, then you serve your people well. But there are also so many great things to talk about with a focus on our children too. And so let's talk about that this morning. My dad has this great line, and he's a man who has suffered much, just so much, and has really found the Lord through that suffering, which is not uncommon for us to truly find God through the hardship. And we haven't had as a nation a whole lot of suffering until the past little bit, and especially as a church, we've kind of had this room to just live. But there's something powerful that comes out of suffering. I just finished reading, I commended it to you guys, Live Not by Lies. I cannot recommend it highly enough. It's the best book I've read in a really long time, which talks about what happened under the totalitarian regimes in Russia and in the rest of the Soviet bloc, and Laura, hi friend, and in just going on in China. And this powerful book, Live Not by Lies, by Rod Dreher, Dreher. He wrote the Benedict option, which I'm going to read coming up here in a minute. And he basically is talking about the power of suffering through it, that those people endured, and how their faith was fortified in that. Okay, so that's my dad. He's a man who suffered much and has really come to the Lord in that process. So he's got this great line, that's a really long explanation, where he says, the greatest gift of being a parent is to watch your children become the people you always knew they were. How good is that? Okay. And so we are many things as mothers, but one of them is miners. We are miners of the truth of our children's souls and their destinies. Okay. We, from pregnancy, especially if you've had more than one child, you start to have this feeling, this kid is different from the one before. They move differently. They have different mannerisms. One's really wild, one was really calm and quiet. I mean, from the beginning, we get these senses about our people, okay? And that only will expand as they grow and they gain words and they gain motion and they gain all of these, ability to reason and perspective and all of these things that they will develop into. So our job as a parent is to call forth the truth of their God-given identity and calling and purpose without imposing, right? To give them room to uncover and discover, but to be there going, yeah, that's right. I see that in you. And the most powerful time and the hardest time to do this is when they are freaking out, okay? So, for example, I have a child who is highly introverted, processes everything internally, wants space, wants time, wants quiet. They think slowly, they process slowly, and I shouldn't even say slowly because that's kind of a label, more, slower than their siblings. And it is totally different from my nature. So it's taken me a while to go, okay, this is who this child is. And those are gifts, because this child is in a family of lots of extroversion, lots of leaning on, sitting on, touching, cuddling, loud, running, and all this stuff. And then we've got the still one, okay? And you can basically tell from family photos who I'm talking about. It is not that hard to tell. So this child is the natural result of being the one that is very different in a family. Is you feel like there's something wrong with me. Why don't I look like the others? Why don't I act like the others? It's easier to go along to get along than it is to be unique. And so my job as mom is to honor the unique qualities in her, the challenges that come with that, because of the family in which she was entrusted, and to speak the power of God's placement of her in our family for her life and future. Okay, so we'll sit down more than sometimes and have a conversation about, listen, I know it's tough for you. you're in a family where there's a lot of activity, there's a lot of noise. I know it's a challenge, but you are growing strong muscles, because all your life you will have moments like this where you will want quiet and stillness and you will not have it. And so this is where you grow the muscles to be strong in that, okay? You will have insight and understanding that will far belie what people see in you, because you're quiet and you're observing and you're watching, right? And so while everybody else is moving and talking, you're watching and you're assessing and you're understanding. So receive that gift, operate in that gift, and stand against the tendency to be frustrated when you're connecting with people who don't have your gifting, okay? This is what they haven't realized how weird it is that I say this yet, but there will come a day when it really bothers them that I say this. I'll look at them as they're fighting with each other and I'm like, this is marriage preparation. Work it out. More likely than not, you, my introvert, will choose an extrovert as a partner. You, my extrovert, will choose an introvert as a partner. Learn how to connect and interact now, and it will serve you so well. I didn't know how to fight from my family of origin. My brother was 9 years older than I, my sister 18 years younger. We had no turf wars. There was no cause for argument. And so when Brian and I got married, I was like, what's happening? How do you work things out with someone that you share space with? This is really uncomfortable. He knew how to do it because he and his sister were 2 years apart and they just went at it and then worked it out and moved on. Okay. So consider, because I think a lot of times we can get into this mode of just behavior management with our children. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. Clean your room. Pick up your toys. Go put your shoes away. Get ready for dinner. Faster. Come on. We got to get out the door, right? And we get into behavior management. May we consider elevating a little bit and going, who are our children? What does this behavior that's going on right now, what does it indicate? What is it a testament to? And how can I help them draw that out? And how can we sanctify it? Okay, what can I be doing that will encourage and equip them to see who God has made them to be, and to encourage them and to bless them in their character. This is who God has made you to be. Yep, you got bunches of sin in there. It's really unsanctified. It's a little bit messy, but we're going to make it through because you have special gifts to offer, and your personality and your tendency and your bent are all important aspects of what you have to offer the world. So I want to hear from you. What are these little gifts that you're uncovering in your children? I mean, Laura, you've got a tiny little one, right? But you can see his nature kind of being uncovered and speaking to your spirit, and it's like, oh, I see that in you. Oh, I have an inkling of what that is going to become. I can see the future with that thing, right? And we start to kind of get this vision for what's to come by just, studying our children. So if you don't do this already, I encourage you guys to make it a practice to study your kids today and just see what the Lord gives you. And then I want to hear from you guys. What fun little things, what bents do you see in your children? And what does it look like for you to call them forth today? Because I know we've got some veteran mamas up in this room who have years and years or decades more experience than I in all this. So I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say. Grateful for you. Please let me know how I can be praying. I'm going to post the info on the calls today. And in true Anna fashion, I did not check in with you guys for in-person connections yesterday, but it is happening today. It's happening today. All right. Grateful for you guys. Bye.